Welcome to the Lean Out Your Business podcast, a show dedicated to helping entrepreneurs accelerate business growth and simplify success. I'm your host, Krista Grasso, and I've been working with businesses for more than 2 decades to help them lean out and optimize what's working while eliminating anything that's not adding value. So if you are ready to get more time back in your day, more profit in your business, and to do business differently, growing and scaling on your terms, let's dive into today's episode. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Lean Out Your Business podcast. Today, I am so excited to be joined by Iris Goldfeder. We are going to be diving into marketing strategies that actually work. It's right now, there is so much uncertainty going on out in the market. And I know a lot of people are reimagining and revisiting their marketing strategy. So I'm super, super excited that Iris is going to be sharing all of her expertise and wisdom with us today, because she is a master at all things marketing. She runs a marketing agency that delivers custom full service marketing strategies. And what I think is so fun and so incredibly right on about her brand, you have to go check out her brand. She is the founder of GasStoveCreative. Is she has blended her chef experience for more than 10 years and taken what she's learned and really applied it into marketing. She says that she learned that in order to create delicious food, you need the right recipe and a splash of creativity. And when she looked at her 25 years in the marketing field, she said that the same thing is true for marketing strategy, which it is.
It is.
So Iris, welcome. I'm so excited that you're here.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
All right, so let's talk about cooking up a marketing strategy that actually works, because I see a lot of people waste a lot of time with marketing, a lot of money with marketing, and unfortunately end up with really disappointing results.
Mm-hmm.
So when clients come to you, let's kind of paint the picture first. What's the current state? When a lot of clients come to you, what are some of those mistakes that they have made that gets them thinking, I need to be doing something different?
So first off, when people come to me, I don't shame market, right? Because like a lot of people are like, oh my God, that sucks. What were you thinking? I will never, ever, 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 ever do that. What I do is I look at what they've done right. And I say, okay, you did this and this is working really, really well. You know, you kind of, this is where you need help and where we can help you. Because I don't believe in negative marketing. What I try to do is, I listen, right? Because a lot of people think they know what they need. They come to me and they're like, okay, you know, I tried this and I know that I need this. And I say, before we say anything and before anything, let's have a conversation. Let's really dive into what you've been doing. And then let's kind of pick it apart, right? And then bake a cake. Let's get a good recipe together for you, right? Let's look at the things that you've done. Let's look at the things that you need and how we can blend them together and, you know, go from there. Because one of the first things that people cut if there's a recession or if they're worried about money or something like that is marketing. And that's the biggest mistake they can make, because that's the thing that helps make them money.
Yeah, I've talked on the podcast before a lot about the growth versus optimization loop. And you typically go through cycles, right? A lot of times you're in a period of growth and you're going all in on marketing and all in on sales.
Yep.
And that ends up creating a big need for operations on the back end when you're bringing in all these new clients and this new demand. Then there's other periods of time where you end up really focused more on optimization. And it might be because you've cut your marketing budget. It might be because you did so well with marketing that you kind of have to hold the presses in order to get your operations in order to be able to support the growth. But the problem is that when that happens, you end up having revenue dip. You end up having your growth impacted, because we know that things don't happen instantly as much as we wish they would. Things
No.
take time. And so when people cut that and go too heavy and swing too far over onto the optimization side, they create a big gap in marketing. And what you're talking about is pretty much the exact same thing that I see. I'm always telling my clients, it's great that you want to focus on systems and operations. Yes, let's go all in and do it. And we are not going to do that at the expense of marketing and growth.
So when people come to me, they're like, they're kind of at their wits' end. They're like, I've done all the things and nothing's working. And, when I sit down with them and then I have a conversation with them and I hear what they've done, it makes a lot of sense, because a lot of people, they'll do social, they'll do all the things that they think that they're supposed to be doing, but they're not doing all the right things. They're doing some things right? Not everything. So I'll look at the things that they're doing right and I'll be like, you're doing a great job there. Just keep doing that. This is where we need help. This is what we need to grow. And it's a lot of people don't have the time, the money, or the knowledge to do their own marketing. They think they do, and they want to save money because they figure, oh, if I do this, I'll save a butt ton of money. But at the end of the day, think of what your time is worth. Like, what are you, 250, 350 an hour, and you're spending maybe 10 hours a month on your social? That's $3,500 right there, and you're not getting anywhere. So that's where we come in, and we're not $3,500 a month yet. Chris is my coach. That may change. I don't know. We'll see.
You are now $7,000.
Now I'm $7,000 a month.
Well, but here's something really interesting that I want to emphasize that you said, which I think is so important, because I think this is a lesson for everyone, no matter what you do. And I think one of your superpowers, and what I've seen and what I've heard from the companies who work with you, who absolutely love you, is the fact that you do truly listen. And I also love the fact that you don't, as you said, kind of shame market people, because what does a Facebook ads person do if you end up with somebody who's not a good ads person? Because I've had amazing ads people and I've had some who have not been so great. Is they make you feel bad. You're doing something wrong and you need to spend more. It's your problem. It's your fault.
Oh,
right.
God, that makes
And
me
nobody
nuts.
feels good about that. Whereas you do the opposite. I love the way that you approach it. Is you listen really carefully. You listen to what's being said, and you also listen to what's not being said. And you have a really great way of helping people understand what they really need, which is frequently different than what they think they need.
100%. I love when, and I love the aha moment, right? Because there's always an aha moment where they're like, okay, so let's have a meeting, and it'll be in person, it'll be on Zoom, right? Wherever. And they're like, okay, so I need this, this, and this. And I'll say, okay, before we start working on that, and that, let's have a conversation. And they'll be like, oh, okay, what do you want to talk about? What you need. I just told you what I need. Right. You told me what you think you need, but now let's figure out what you really need. And then we sit down and we have a conversation, and I ask, and the questions are different because it depends on who I'm speaking with, right? Because no two people are the same. Nothing I do is cookie cutter. Everything is very customized because I do listen. And, your story is going to be different than, Michelle's story is going to be different than Jeremy's story is going to be different than, whatever. Nothing is the same. So when I listen, I kind of look at it that I'm sitting down really with a friend who's telling me their problem. And when my friends come to me with a problem, I sit down and I listen. I don't talk. I let them vent. I let them get everything out. And then if they want my opinion, I give it to them. And if they don't, I don't. Now with clients, I'll listen. I'll let them vent. And then when they're done, I'll say, okay, can I let you know what I heard? And they're like, sure. And then I tell them what I heard, and they're like, holy shit, you're right. And then, of course, I say, well, my wife married Mrs. Right, but that's like a whole nother story, right? I know my stuff. I've been doing it a really long time. And it really breaks my heart when people don't get the right advice, because then they're throwing money away, and they're throwing like hard-earned money away. It's almost like, I know that there are some people out there that take like the al dente, pizza, the pasta, and they throw it against the wall to see what sticks. You can't work like that. It doesn't work like that. You need to really know what you're doing, and you need to really hone in onto the things that you need in order for it to be successful. And that is one of my superpowers. That's what I get done for folks.
So I'm super curious, right? Because you work with a lot of different businesses. And so, what are some of the common themes that you see that a lot of brands really need and that make a big difference for them, but they might not necessarily be thinking about when they first come to you?
One of the things that I find that works across all channels is video. Um, a lot of people are like, why do I want to do a video? Well, because people don't know you. They may see you online, they may see your posts, but they don't know you. They don't get that flavor of who you are. When you do video, and I don't mean like 30-minute videos. I mean like little 90-second, bitelets, right? Where you're talking about your expertise and where you could be talking about something that's important to you. I do videos every Thursday. And sometimes it's about business. Sometimes it's about this beautiful sunset that I saw that reminded me of how everything ties everything together. But through video, people get to know your heart. And when you are a coach, when you are a solopreneur, when you are a service-based business, it's all about relationships. And when you do video, people get to know, like, and trust you through that video. I mean, unless you're a really good actor and you're faking it, but and some people do, right? But video really shows people who you are, your personality comes out, your heart comes out. And I think across the board, that's helped all my clients.
Yeah, it's true. There's so many people that sometimes you read their posts or you look at their things and all of a sudden you see a video from them and you're like, wait a minute, is that the same person? It can be a little
Yeah.
jarring at first. You're like, that person wrote that. Whereas when those things fit, when there's that person whose stuff that you absolutely love, and then you get used to seeing them on video, I feel
Yes.
like it just completely changes it. And it changes any decision you're ever going to make about hiring them or working with them.
Oh, 100%. I've gotten like so many messages on LinkedIn from, that came from my video. And one I got, this guy was watching me for like a year and a half. And he, made up his mind. And his message was funny. It was like, I know this is going to sound creepy and I really don't mean it to sound creepy, but I've been lurking and not commenting on your stuff and watching you. And I would really love to work with you. And so I said, let's set up a call. And if I'm not sure, I'll set up a 15-minute vetting call just to make sure that they're not, a little creepy. And he was amazing. He was just like, I've been watching you. I watched your podcast. I love your heart. And I think you would do amazing things for me.
All right. So you just brought up something that's so interesting because I get this question from clients a lot. I hate social media. Why do I even do social media? Nobody buys anything from social media. Or why do I do this? Nobody buys anything through this. And so often, I think people expect immediate, instant, and highly visible results
Right.
from every single individual piece of marketing
Not
content
going
that
to
they
happen.
produce. And it doesn't work that way. So
No.
kind of help
Takes time.
explain how this works.
I mean, any kind of aspect of marketing that you're doing, whether it's video, whether it's posting, whether it's, doing the not Instagram, the LinkedIn newsletters, however you're touching your people. They say it takes 7 touches, right? I think sometimes it takes more than that. Overnight successes take 10 years. They don't happen overnight. So everything takes time. It's like SEO. Just throw that out there for a minute. People are like, oh, well, if you do SEO on my website, am I going to be, on the first page of Google like right away? No, it takes at least 6 months. And I'm not promising you number one. I will tell you that you'll be on the first page, but I will never promise you number one. And if anybody does promise you that first place, run, because you're going to get blackballed. It's everything takes time. And I think a lot of people want the, what is it? Instant gratification. And it doesn't happen like that. You know, it you have to nourish things, you have to nurture things in order for them to grow, right? And that's one of the biggest, I think, misconceptions in marketing is that, yes, if you do a paid ad, you are probably going to get more, you'll get a faster return, but you're paying a hell of a lot more. You have to play the long game. It's not a short game, it's a long game.
Yeah, it's so true. I remember, one time I'd put something out, and this was earlier on, and I remember thinking, gosh, nobody seemed to care at all about that. I spent like 2 hours on this piece of content and I got crickets, like nothing. And I cannot tell you how many conversations for like 6 months after I posted that, I would have conversations with people and they'd say, it was that piece that you posted about this. And I knew I wanted to work with you. And
Right.
I'm finally at the point where I'm ready. They didn't like that post. They didn't comment on that post. I had
Right.
no idea that they even saw that post. But it was like one of those where I really felt like it was going to be the one that made such a big difference. I put so much effort into it, And the thing is, it did have the effect that I wanted it to have,
Right.
but I did not get instant gratification. And I also did not even necessarily get the visibility that people were paying attention, but they were lurking. They were
Well, and
watching.
I tell all of my coaching clients this, right? Because they're like, why do I need SEO? Why do I need to be on LinkedIn? Why do I need to do all this? It's because people, CEOs, people in the C suite, they never comment. Very, very, very rarely, unless you're like us, right? Like we're a little bit different. But like people in corporate who who the coaches are looking to get in front of, they don't comment. They watch. They watch, they look to see what you're posting, they look to see your expertise, they look for all of it. And you may not hear from them from a year, but you will hear from them at some point because it's happened to like all of my clients. The one thing that was really funny, my one of my clients, Michelle, posted something. It was like a post about something, and she sent me a message and she said, "Holy shit, I got 2 comments on this." 2 comments, and she was excited about the 2 comments, or she got two private messages about something. But then later on, you know, sh- people watched her, they saw her expertise, and now she's doing some pretty cool shit,
Hmm.
and she's getting paid for it, and she's getting paid well for it, and it's all about how you show up, and that's all marketing is it helps you show up right in front of your ideal audience to get them to want to work with you.
I agree. And one of the things that you've mentioned a couple times is SEO. And so I want to dig into that a little bit because there's all of this chatter about how SEO is changing with AI. And I
Mhm.
think the reality is AI is literally changing almost everything to an
Yeah.
extent, yet at the same time, it's not. So, what are some things that people want to be thinking about when it comes to SEO? Do we still want to work with an agency for SEO?
Of course, I'm not going to say no. Of course you do. Look, AI is amazing, but it's an assistant. It's not, it doesn't have that human element in it. And you need the human element. It is wonderful to help. Like I'll write an article for a magazine, and my grammar sometimes, I typo all the time. I'll send a text and I'll say like "thank you" instead of "thank you," right? So I'll, write the article and then I'll drop it into ChatGPT or Magi or, whatever, um, to clean it up, like, clean up my grammar. That's what it's for. It's not going to be able to write something heartfelt. It's not going to be able to catch all of the things because it's programmed to do certain things. So AI and SEO, yeah, but it's going to miss things. I mean, it's a robot. It's not going to catch all of the things that a trained professional search engine optimizer is going to find. The person that I have doing SEO on my team is ridiculous. I mean, she's just like phenomenal. She catches stuff that that AI wouldn't. There's no way that AI would catch it. So yeah, I think AI is coming in, um, and it is. I look at it as an enhancement, not as a replacement.
I agree fully. I call it you want to be an AI enabled business, not AI created, not AI anything. It's AI enabled.
Yes, 100%. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I know the person who does SEO on your team, and this woman is like savant level when it comes to SEO. It's kind of ridiculous.
I
But
mean,
what I do
yeah, she's, I'm very blessed to have her. And I use that word very rarely, but yeah.
But what I find to be so fascinating is I know a lot of other people who do SEO and SEO services. I've had people help me with SEO before, and none of those other people have ever gotten the kinds of results that she does on your team. And I think there's something to be said for someone who really truly knows what they're doing. And AI can probably help you with SEO. AI can help you with a whole lot of things. And it might incrementally improve where you're at today,
Yeah.
but it's not going to give you the same type of results or the same type of experience as you get from someone who actually knows what they're doing and who's an expert at their craft.
I mean, I think that, so she puts reports together. She this is what I love about her is I get an email documenting every single thing that she's done for every one of my clients. And then I get a detailed report of what she changed. And when I look at that report, it's like, there is no way in hell AI would have caught that. There's, there is no way. And if they would have caught it, it would have been on such a, I don't want to say pedestrian level, but not as high of a level as she catches it, that again, it enhances things. It doesn't replace it. And you shouldn't let it replace it. To me, that's lazy, right? If you're just going to go in and be like, okay, go ahead and do this. A, people are going to know that you're doing it, right? And B, it's just lazy. Like, keep your craft, keep the human aspect in it, because that's, people want to work with people. They don't want to work with robots.
Yeah, and I am a huge, huge, huge proponent for AI. I have my program coming out, Simplify and Scale with AI. I
Yeah,
am all about AI, and I also use it in a way that's different than a lot of people use it. And I use it in a really, really strategic way that very much uses the human element where the human element should be, and then automates and simplifies things where the human element does not need to be. And I see a lot of people think from a marketing perspective, they're going to replace their entire marketing team with a bunch of AI assistants. Can AI do the work for you? Sure, there's elements of it that it's going to be able to do, but it is never going to be able to capture your brand and your strategy in the way that you need it to actually see the results. You'll be
right.
able to create a bunch of output, but you will not necessarily be able to create a bunch of outcomes unless you wrap it in strategy and have that human element to it. And I think that's what you do so beautifully with your clients.
Thank you. I mean, to me, it's so important that that human element is there. I'm very relationship based. Um, I don't work with somebody if I don't have a relationship with them, because I don't know them, and then I don't know how I can help them. So, I would rather have 40 or 50 clients that I know and that I know I can help and that I know that I do help, rather than hundreds of people that I don't know, and I don't know, they're just a number. Um, and I know that makes me like a non-capitalist, but I guess that's what I am. I mean, for me, you know, I don't need to make, a gazillion dollars. I need to be able to know that the 50 people that I'm working with, and there's like attrition, right? Like, you're going to lose people, and then, they're going to move on, and then you're going to replace them with somebody else. But at the end of the day, for me, it's really all about, you know, I want to get to know that person that I'm working with, so I know that I can help them, and I know I can sleep at night. So for me, it's all about just running a heart-centered business where I care about my clients, I care about the outcome, I know them, I know their kids' names, I know their birthdays. That's what success is for me. Um, and I think that's why we do so well at what we do, is because we do have that relationship, and we listened, and so we were able to get where we needed to get, if that makes sense.
It does. And so we've talked a little bit about how you work. Why don't you share with people what you actually do and what you have coming up next in your world? What are you excited about? What's happening?
Whew, okay, so we are all-in-one marketing solutions for service-based businesses, and that can be like, roofers, and I have a bug guy who, I love. He does integrated pest management. I have coaches. We work with anybody who provides a service. And we do all aspects. We do digital, we do print, we do all of it. So we're the company that you go to when you don't want to work with 20 different people to get all of your marketing done. You can just get it all done here. People call it one-stop shopping. I hate that. I think it cheapens it. So for me, it's all-in-one marketing solutions. You can get it done right here. The next thing I'm excited about is our site audit. We have a quiz out. Is your website tasty enough? You can go to the website and take the quiz. And it'll tell you where you are. And, if you already know what you're doing and everything is great, then we'll say thank you. But if you don't and you need help, we'll do a site audit for you, and we'll help you see where the holes are and where your site can be better. And again, we don't make you feel stupid. We use a lot of cooking euphemisms. So, but yeah, I'm super excited about that because that audit really helps people kind of see, why they're not ranking, or, why they're not getting found, right? I always say, if you're not online, you're not an option. Some people don't even have websites, which blows my mind. That's another story. In 2024, how do you not have a website? But some people don't.
Yep, it's true. I mean, if you think about it, people who've been doing something for a really long time and have been really successful, they got to where they are based on what they were doing before. But unfortunately, it's not always what's taking them where they need to go next.
Right, right. Well, and what's that saying? What got you here won't get you there.
Mm-hmm. So where can people
So,
find you online? What's your website? What's the best way to connect with you?
LinkedIn. So LinkedIn, Iris Goldfeder. Website is GasStoveCreative.com. That's 2 S's. Also check out my podcast. Gas Stove Creative presents the cookbook, Recipes for Success in Business and Marketing. And yeah, I'd love to hear from you.
Fantastic. All right. So I cannot wait to hear what you have to say for this one.
Oh boy.
But how do you work smarter, not harder, and keep things lean in your business?
Oh, that's what I hired you for. But, I think for me, it's the systems. And you really helped with that. I mean, before I came to you, I was a team of me figuring everything out. And then I had, my teammates. Now we're putting systems in place that automate things, that make things a lot easier. It streamlines things because all of the projects are in one place instead of being everywhere. And it makes my life a lot easier and a lot less stressful because I'm not going, oh my God, where did I put this? Because, I could be the nutty professor sometimes. So I really think putting the systems together and getting the right people in the right seats.
Yep. I love it. And to me, I love your commitment to making your business scalable, and the commitment to the incredible, beautiful vision that you have, and making the commitment to yourself to actually do the things that you probably wouldn't normally want to do, right? You're a visionary. You probably don't want to play all day in systems, but you're doing it because that's what's going to help you scale your business, which I love.
Well, yeah, and it's all about scalability, and again, which is why I started working with you, because I knew that if I was going to scale, I needed to figure out how to do that. And working with you, I remember the first thing that we did was the team-based values things. And to me, I heard those and it was like, oh, that's like the most important thing, because if you don't have those in place, if you don't have a good team and a good set of values that they need to follow, then it's all going to go to hell. And I remember I sent you a message and I was like, okay, I'm working on this. And you were like, I am so proud of you because I hate that stuff. That's not the stuff that I want to be doing, but you're right. I'm doing it because I want to get to that next level. And I think, to your point, um, when you want to scale and you want to get to that next level, you have to do the work. You have to get your hands dirty as much as You don't want to, you have to do the things you don't like. But when you get to the other side, it's all worth it.
It really is. I know. And I love your commitment to it. And this week we both let somebody go on our teams. We have all sorts of just wildness going on behind the scenes. All right. So I have one final question for you before we wrap this up, although we could probably talk for days.
Easily.
And that is, do you have any final tips for people as they're thinking about their marketing strategy and what's going to help them be really successful as they go through the end of this year?
Look at what you're doing. Look at where you're spending your time. And make sure that you're spending your time on the right things. Because like I said in the beginning, it's really easy to think that we know what we need and we know what we're doing. But really take a look at it. And then if you need help, call somebody. There's nothing, it doesn't have to be me. It could be somebody else. I'd love it if it was me, but really, you really need to look at what you're doing, because if you spend your money on your marketing, I'm not going to say incorrectly, but if you don't spend it in the right places and in the right ways, then you're wasting a lot of money, and you could use that money to really help grow your business, because that's at the end of the day what you want to do. You want to scale and grow. So look at what you're doing.
Fantastic. Iris, thank you so much for being here. So such a great conversation, and I appreciate you sharing your brilliance with us all. All right. Well, I hope you got as much value out of this episode as I did. I will see you again next week. Thanks so much for tuning in to this week's episode. If you have not yet taken our scalability assessment, I invite you to head to leanoutmethod.com/assessment and take our interactive assessment that's going to help you look at how simple, how sustainable, and how scalable your business currently is. It includes personalized recommendations of where to focus next to get your time back, to increase your impact, increase your profits, and ultimately step into your rich, fulfilled life. And finally, we'd love to see you inside our signature program, Simplify to Scale. You can head to leanoutmethod.com/ops to find all of the details on how we can help you up-level your operations and get out of the day-to-day of your business.